Alright, we got Pac-Man rollers. One of them's marked out of order. We know why. I just have to replace the part for it. The game's not spitting out balls, and if you actually look down here, you'll kind of see why. So we got a replacement bracket that holds that sensor in place. I just got to get to it. To get at that bracket, it's right about here or so. I got to take off this plastic cover, take off the LED panels, and then I can replace that. To do that, I got to separate the games. They're bolted together in 3 spots. 1, 2 about there, and 3 up there behind those LED panels. Fun. You can actually see one of the bolts that holds the games together right there. Alright, I need some space to be able to pull this away and work, so I gotta push Cyberpunk to the side first. There we go, now I got some space to move this away. Alright, first things first, you gotta come to the back of the game and you gotta unplug some cables that are linking each of the cabinets together. Alright, in the back of the game, we gotta unplug pretty much one of these orange cables here and one of these green cables. There's a ground that's also linking them together, but I have enough slack on that I can separate and do my work. We unplug this one, there we go. And then unplug that one there. There we go. Now the only thing linking them is this ground wire, which there's enough slack on here for me to be able to do my work. All right, let's take the top one out first. Just behind these screws right here. Take these out, that one, and the whole screen actually flips upwards. Now with those out of the way, there we go. There's the bolt that holds this top part in place. Just take this off. There we go. And I'll just leave it up here with the screws. And this one too. There we go. And now with that out and that one up there out, I can push the games apart. There we go, that's better. By the way, there's the third bolt. That's a pain in the butt to get to. So what I did is I just put the nut back on it, and I'm using it as an alignment pin to just make sure everything's kind of squared up correctly. You separate this, there's a ground wire back here you can't pull on too much. But there, like I said, there's enough slack. Now that we have access to both sides of this panel, we can take out these screws all along here. Same thing on the inside. And take off this cover. These are really short screws, so don't drop them. Like I said, really short. All right, now that all those screws are out, you open up the door a bit, and then you can take this cover off. There we go. We still got to take off these LED panels. There's a couple of really little bitty screws right here that hold it in place. 1, 2, and there's 3, 4 up there, and then the whole panel's kind of come off. Went back to the office to get a manual screwdriver. With this screw being so close to the panels, I don't want to damage anything. All right, once all 4 of those screws are out, you can gently lift this up to get access. Careful though, there's cables and stuff that are attached to it. I just go ahead and lay it across the top of the game like that, because that gives us access to what we actually need to get in here for. This broken piece of metal. This setup here is important for correct operation of the game. Most skee-ball games have some sort of sensor that counts how many balls are in the game when you first start playing. That way it knows to continuously recycle the same balls over and over again until you reach the maximum amount of shots. The bracket that holds this one in place somehow broke on every single weld. We attempted to JB weld it back together. It lasted long enough for the new one to get here. Old bracket versus the new bracket. All right, I've put our sensor back in here. Just got to mount it back in the game where it goes. All right, got the screws back in. Zip tie to keep some of the wires in place. That should be okay. We can actually test it right now. Gonna move some of my stuff kind of out of the way here a little bit. There we go. So we got a credit in here. When that timer goes, the gate will go down and the game will count how many balls, and it'll know that there's 5 within the game. It'll keep track of those same 5. It'll leave that open unless it needs to shut it for some reason, or it'll open it in case it just miscounts. Eventually the game closes the gate because it knows I only have 2 balls up here. It miscounted slightly, but it closed to keep track of them all. And there we go. Alright, for demonstration purposes, I only left 1 ball in there and I fed the game another credit. The game will constantly give me this 1 back. Played the game down so I only have 2 shots left. So when I toss this ball up here, the gate should close after it passes through. The gate just closed. The game knows how many are in there. I think we're fixed. Alright, now we can put this all back together. I got the panel on. Screw this back down. Alright, panel's screwed back in. Get the cover back on. Alright, cover's back on. Just screw it down. Alright, bracket's been replaced. Panel's been installed. Cover's been installed. Just gotta move these back together. Bolt it back together, and then we should be done. Alright, now that this is all back together here, gotta use the bolts, put those back in to line everything up correctly. Had to open up the other side to get the bolt in correctly. But put the nut on it and squeeze everything together. There we go, much better. Now with that bolt in, we can close up this game, which is the middle one. Put the screws back in for this one. And there we go, last one. There we go, that one's in there now too. We just gotta plug some cables back in the back of the game and then we're done. Alright, back here at the back of the game, we gotta plug this cable back into that board there. This orange one back into here. There we go. Just kind of toss the slack back in here. And then we put our door back on. Oh, I dropped my key. And door's back on. Alright, door's back on. Cables are connected. Bracket's been replaced. Everything's all been put back together. Game's been moved and tagged back in. Should be fixed.